This document outlines the structure and dynamics of Soviet assistance to various countries, including economic and military aid, as well as subsidies. Here's a breakdown of the key points. 1. Soviet economic and military assistance peaked in 1981 at $23.8 billion and declined to $14.2 billion by 1985. Economic assistance dropped due to reduced implicit oil subsidies. Military assistance remained relatively stable but saw a slight decline in the early 1980s due to LDC financial problems. The majority of Soviet economic aid, 90%, went to LDCs by 1985. Communist LDCs, e.g., Cuba, Vietnam, received substantial economic aid and subsidies aimed at maintaining viable economies. Terms of economic aid included long repayment periods, low interest rates, and grace periods. Non-communist LDCs received relatively smaller and less generous aid, mostly in the form of project-specific credits. Military sales were a major tool for Soviet influence in LDCs, with a significant portion going to non-communist LDCs. Soviet military sales declined in the mid-1980s due to financial problems in recipient countries. Military deliveries to communist LDCs were generally more generous, often provided for free or at nominal charges. Soviet assistance to Eastern Europe focused on easing the transition to a changing world price structure, mainly through price subsidies and trade deficits. Subsidies were measured as the difference between Soviet-agreed prices and world market prices. Subsidies were provided on various commodities, including oil, sugar, and nickel, with different pricing mechanisms. Estimates excluded subsidies for machinery and equipment to Eastern Europe due to negotiated pricing within the SEMA. These points illustrate the complexity of Soviet assistance programs, their motivations, and their impact on recipient countries' economies and Soviet domestic interests.